Right now it's February, the beginning of February. You want that to be the lowest month. In this video, I'm going to share with you guys how to find that winning product that you can sell on Etsy. But in order to do that, you need to know the future. I'm going to share with you guys the technique that will help you to prepare for the right trend that is about to hit the market. In this video, I'm also going to answer a few questions like what's a good conversion rate, how much competition amount is okay, and which competition amount is not okay. And at the end of the video, the question that I'm going to be answering that a lot of you guys have been asking is, when should I start seeing sales? I open up a new shop. When is my sales really supposed to hit the floor? And we're going to take a look at my big shop. We're going to take a look at the first 2 weeks of that shop and how it did. And we're also going to look at the shop that I recently started and how that looks like. So we're going to compare how it used to be and how it is so that you know exactly what you can expect with the shop that you currently have. All right, in order to predict the future, we need to use some of the tools. And I usually don't like to really heavily depend on tools, but in this case, this is a very useful tool that eRank does provide. So you go on eRank, you go on monthly trends. Most people have been using this page incorrectly. They do several things. One, they only focus on the words and they focus on these little fire things, but that's not what you need to look at. What you need to look at is as this graph. What this graph you need to look out for is two things, right? If the month that you're in currently, say right now it's February, the beginning of February, you want that to be the lowest month. You want that to be the month of the valley, right? You don't want that to be the highest point, because which means the traffic will only go down from there. But what you want to do is you want to find the lowest point, and then you want to see the trajectory that goes after that month, which trajectory should be going up. So if we find a low month, then we're only going to get more sales from there, and you can ride that train or ride that trend after. You don't want to go downhill. So let's take a look at some of the listings. So for example, digital planners right now, they're not at their lowest, but the trajectory is going down. So maybe in May, maybe in April, that's when I'll consider spending my time on it, because after that, that's really where it grows. Another really good one is right here, printable art. So it's not the lowest, but it's going to hit the lowest here pretty soon. So something, if you guys do printable wall art, this is a great time to start, or at least next month, start to really work on that. You could do it this month, just don't expect sales right away. Here's another confirmation of just a word planner. You see that this is kind of the low season, and you're going to go up from there. So that's a great way to think about what you're going to sell is, hey, what is happening with the trend? The next trick that I'm going to show you on how to find what you should sell next is probably the most valuable trick. And in fact, it is the trick that you probably paid money for. So make sure not to miss out on this trick. So what we're going to do is we're going to go on marketing. We're going to go on Etsy ads. We're going to scroll down. We're going to go on manage advertised listings. And what you're going to do is find the listings that you are doing really well on, that you're really pushing through, like something that's significant. You go on search terms, and then what you're going to do is you're going to find search terms that, though you are ranking, that might not have a high click-through rate, but something that you can find. You're going to highlight this keyword. Then you're going to go back to eRank. You're going to type in the keyword room decor or whatever your keyword is, because Etsy already recognizes that you are liked. Your product is really liked in this space. The algorithm is nibbling on your store, and you want to give it more. You want to give it more of those type of products. So if I'm ranking really well on room decor, all right, so when we go down, you can either look at this graph or you can look at this graph. So since February, this is a low month for me, and I see that trajectory going upward. So this is going to be great for me to do. So then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to look through these keywords, and I'm going to see find some keyword that has a trajectory going upward. So this might be something that I would be tinkering with maybe. So you go through those keywords and you find a trajectory of which keywords is your shop, specifically to your shop, is going to benefit the algorithm even more. The question I want to ask here is, what about the competition? How much competition is okay? So what you need to look for is anything under 100,000. Somebody on my shorts said, hey, what do you mean 70,000 is not a bad competition? The reason is most of the competition are doing many things either incorrectly or they're not even competing with you. So obviously people that are selling room decor, they're not competing with people that are selling night lamps for kids versus the people that are doing wall hangings. They're not competing with each other, but the competition here is describing that they are. And at least that's what we can perceive. So on the keywords that you are trying to rank, that could also happen, is even though the product is very specific. That product name, for example, bridesmaid's gift, just could mean many different things. You're selling either t-shirts or soap, and different brides want different things. You're not in competition with those two products. So that's the first thing. So if you have something like 70,000, the competition that you actually should be concerning yourself out of the 70,000 is probably like 20 to maybe 10. The other portion of that competition is doing several things wrong that you can do better at. For example, you can personalize it. When you personalize something off the bat, you're taking care of probably 70 to 60% off those competition. Then you make sure that you do a great price, you do great photos, you do a lot of things that you're really focusing on your listing, and you're taking care of so much competition already just by doing the very basic important things. You'd be surprised how many people sell on Etsy that really are not doing those things, even if they're committed to Etsy. And then you're getting rid of people that are not committed to Etsy, or they haven't posted on Etsy in a long while, or their artwork or their design just sucks. When you see the competition, literally 90% of those people will not be your competitors if you just put together a decent listing with a decent price and your store is very intentional and you care about your product. So what is a good conversion rate? So if you are selling on your store and you're saying, hey, what is a good conversion rate? I want to know whether I'm losing money or making money, whether it's a good enough product, should I try to improve my product? And I'm going to say that it depends. So the first thing we got to talk about is the amount of sales that you got, or the amount of clicks that you got, in order to make the decision whether your conversion rate is, whether that data is accurate for you to make the assumption that that is your conversion rate. If you had 100 visits, that doesn't mean you have sufficient enough information for you to determine that this is my conversion rate. If you have 10,000 clicks or 10,000 visits, that's already, you're getting at a point to where you can collect that data and say, yes, this is my conversion rate. However, at the end of the day, are you making money? So if you're advertising and your conversion rate at the certain amount is not bringing you profit, it is too small of a conversion rate, and you might need to pull back on your advertisement. However, if you're happy with the conversion rate, might as well just keep going. So at the end of the day, are you making money? However, my wife's store, she sells baby onesies, pretty much anything baby. She has about 2.6% on average currently. However, my dog collar store currently is at a 4.7%, and sometimes it gets up to 6 or 7%. And it also depends on season and whether you're running an advertisement or whether you're running a discount. It really depends on what your price is compared to your other competitors. I say this so that you do get a number, but don't tie yourself. You can be anywhere from 1% to 7 or 8%. Don't tie yourself to those numbers. Really look at whether it's worth it for you or not. Before I show you my 100,000 sales store, let me show you my newest store that I opened up a couple months ago, and is a cat collar store. And this is the amount of visits that I got. So I made only $30 within 2 weeks. And so the visits started to climb slowly, and I got 5 orders. Now, the reason why, wait a minute, 5 orders and only $30? Well, because I made it really, really cheap. I made my dog collars be like $5 or something like that. And I just tried that because I wanted to get some traction. I like to do that. Conversion rate is, well, like I said, it's really inconclusive, but the visits started to climb. However, if you zoom out, you see that it's continued to climb. And again, that's because I'm accumulating more and more visits. The algorithm is interacting with me. But with that much, I've only got 10 sales for the first month of my store. So 10 sales of a first month. Don't get discouraged if you're not making any sales. Really care about several things. First, you need to look at visits. Don't worry about orders or conversion rate or revenue. Think about visits. Are they coming to your store? When you're advertisement, when you go on marketing, when you go on Etsy ads, what you want to look for is this is what I look at. I go on manage listings and I look, are there any views? Is the views count increasing or is it staying the same? All right, let's take a look at my first week of my big shop. And I started the store at the end of 2019, so it's just over 3 years ago I started this. I started my Etsy shop, and this is what happened. So it obviously started with 0 visits, 12 visits, and 64, 67 is really where I got the most. Now I got some orders. Again, it's not conclusive because you can have 1 sale or 0 sales and still have the same trajectory. I made $159, which was really nice. Now when we take a look at even further, let's zoom out a little bit more. Let's zoom out 2 more weeks and see what's happening in 2 more weeks. So you can see that my best happened just in the beginning, and then everything just kept going. And really, I had no sales after that. I still kept going. So remember, it's a store with over 100,000. So you're like, I'm just never gonna make it. So with probably after my first, let's take a look. So let's say the first 2.5 months, I made only 10 sales. Even though I started my Etsy shop a little over 3 years ago, the times have changed, and you really need to know this that I talk about in this video of how the algorithm has changed and that you need to start applying to your Etsy shop in order to succeed in 2023. Really check out this video. That's really going to give you the knowledge that you need to tackle the Etsy in the modern day.